My name is Junior van der Mortelen. I am the Big Truck Sales Director for EMEA. And you would expect me, Sales Director, to be here from a commercial perspective. But I'm mainly here to tell you about the journey that we as an OEM, a manufacturer of port materials handling equipment, are on. We heard a lot yesterday and today about digitalization. Digitalization means data. It means cables, for Prysmian for instance, but it also means automation. If you have the data, you can start automating the terminals, but automating also means electrification. Typically, rolling equipment, reach stackers, empty container handler, they're driven by diesel engines. However, if you want to go towards that digitalization and automation, you would be looking at electrifying. So I will give you a brief insight on our company, and I will give you a brief insight on where we believe the future in 5, 10, 15 years lies when it comes to rolling material handling equipment. So we are Hyster Materials Handling. We do forklift trucks under the names Hyster, Yale and Maximal. There are 3 different brands produced in multiple factories across the world. We own a business that's called Bolzoni Aramo Meyer. They are specialized in front-end equipment, double pallet handlers, bale clamps, rotators, name it. We've got Nevera fuel cells. So this is part of that journey we're on. We acquired that business in 2016, and this is a company that's 100% owned by the Hyster Material Handling organization and is completely focused around clean power that means business, which is the title of this presentation. So we're a global organization. We're a US-based organization, but we're global. We've got 19 facilities across the globe with 12 production sites, and we've built over 1 million trucks in the last 10 years. But we're also very local. So for EMEA, our main factories are based in Northern Ireland, Craigavon. This is where we build all forklift trucks from 1-ton capacities all the way up to 5.5-ton capacities. So 4-wheel, 3-wheel electric and diesel trucks. Then we've got a location in Bergamo, close to Milan, where we produce all warehouse trucks. So everything that you will see in your internal transport in the warehouses and so on is built in Bergamo, near to Bergamo. And then last but not least, we've got Nijmegen, Netherlands, where I come from. And this is where we build and produce all the big trucks. Big trucks are being classified for us as an OEM. Everything that has 8 tons capacity and up and has forks or can lift containers is a big truck. So from 8 ton all the way up to 52 tons. And if you would even require higher capacities, we can do that through special design. We're even more local. So we are a global company. However, the way we distribute our products are done by individual distributors. Here in Western Africa, in Gambia, Senegal, we've got Manutention Services, which is our dealer partner. We really trust in our dealer partners because they give that local touch to your local needs. They have the culture, they have the language, they will understand what's going on in the country, they understand the political situations, so they can really customize your requirements into the right truck at the right value. Short video of the almost last 100 years. So you might think Hyster, as a manufacturer, they've been in the business for almost 100 years. They know what they're doing. My view is that we've just only started. Technology is changing. We talked about, again, the digitalization, automation, electrification of equipment. Our long-term strategy is to kind of lean into that, lean into that trend. And with that, we talk about clean power means business. It's a big thing to say, but what does it mean? It's our commitment to actually integrate the clean energy technologies into our products and commitments to into our products and the customer's operations, aligning with the growing goals and commitments towards sustainability. So ultimately, digitalization, automation, you need electrification. And the side effect is also that decarbonization. So if today you want to decarbonize your terminals, the quickest way would be replacing your rolling equipment that runs on diesel. It's relatively low cost on a terminal, and it's up for replacement every 3, 4, 5 years due to the intensive uses. So the decarbonization journey, that electrification journey has started. So many port operators have set their targets. They said, we want to be here by X. But those targets mean something. If everybody wants to change to electric rolling equipment today, there is so much demand that none of the OEMs, none of the manufacturers can cope with it. So we need to prepare to that transition to zero emission. The maturity of the product, because we're used to, let's say, a reach stacker that has 800 liters diesel and we can do 3-4 days without refueling, we need to change the behavior. But to get those products into the field, we need volume. So that's only how the product can get mature. But to be ahead of that race, the efforts already started today. You will see customer timelines. We were in touch with many customers. By 2030, we want to reduce our emissions with 50%. By 2040, we want to go to minus 75% net zero. And by 2050, we want to go net zero. This will have an impact. So today, I'm here. We can have this discussion. So I encourage you afterwards to ask questions or to come and visit us at the stand. Today, as well, this year, we are piloting projects. 2025, the ports and terminals need to start making their choices. Do we continue with diesel? Do we go for HVO? This is also an alternative. Do we go for electric, so fully electric driven? Or do we go for hydrogen? And this is where we believe the future is. And 2027 is where we aim to get deployment of the first manufacturing built machines into the field. So when we specifically look at the high-stir port equipment, we want to develop a full line of zero emission offering for applications. And that's being done in 2 ways. You've got a full electric truck. It drives on electricity, it has lithium-ion batteries in, and it needs to be charged at a certain point in time, depending on your application. The second choice would be hydrogen in combination with a small lithium-ion. Hydrogen, it's water and electricity formed into hydrogen, and we have managed to reverse that process into a small engine that gives you the same energy and effectivity as lithium-ion. The other piece we are already learning, and I will come to that point a little bit later, electricity also means efficiency. When you drive a diesel, you've got your torque converter, etc., and you lose a lot of energy from the fuel you burn. When you have electricity, it goes through cables and it goes directly on your front axle. It goes directly into your load. Another side effect is when you go electricity, you can regenerate. So when you brake, you can regenerate energy and bring that back into your battery. The aim is for us by 2027 we have a full line of port equipment in many varieties. So a few projects. In the port of Valencia, there has been a greenfield where MSC has said we want to pilot, we want to look at a zero emissions port. We have installed a hydrogen reach stacker early in the year. The truck is operational. It's meeting its expectations. It's even going above a little bit versus the calculations we've done through the engineering group. But this is a truck. The emissions from the tailpipe are water. Similar with CMA CGM at Phoenix Marine Service, Long Beach, USA. We've got a top loader. It's the US equivalent of a reach stacker that's fully operational on that site, on that yard, because we are learning. And not only us, but everybody's learning. Again, in Long Beach, California, with APMT, we've got electric forklift trucks, completely driven by electricity and learning. Very recently, we deployed a terminal tractor at Hala in Hamburg. Also there, they want to see what the green port of the future looks like. And there's many parts, so it's part of the Clean Port and Logistics Consortium. And it's to accelerate that maturity of what does it mean if I have an empty container handler or a terminal tractor or a straddle carrier that's fully electric or even on hydrogen. What does it mean for my operations? So what have we learned with regards to this technology? So in the meantime, diesel is still out there. Battery powered, we see this is for mild applications. It's a modular setup, so according to your operations you can go for 1, 2, 3 or 4 batteries, but you also need a charger to fit the application. because ultimately you need to charge that truck at one point of time. And there's a lot of varieties that you can play with, such as your amps. The more amps you can put in the truck, the shorter your charging time will be, and so forth. But that brings a different challenge. You need to have the grid connection. You need to have the power available. If we go for tough applications, we're already learning that hydrogen is the way forward. You have that zero emission, you have the same capabilities as an electric truck, the same energy, the same efficiency, but it's being fueled similar to a diesel truck. So with only 15 minutes, you will refuel your hydrogen tank and you've got 24 operations at your yard. So to determine the best fit with the application, when we look at electric, you need to look at the battery, you need at the charger size modularity, you need to really understand the terminal, what is available on site. There's also the hybrid, the battery and fuel cell, where we really look in. We want to get towards that fuel cell and the battery. You've got a large charger, you can operate on batteries, but if required, you can kind of fit the hydrogen into that as well. Additionally, the fuel cell will help you complete that shift. And last but not least, there's always a place for diesel. You will have very remote locations where you will not get hydrogen, where you will not get electricity, so you still need the diesel trucks. What we've also learned, we need to look at a much broader perspective than only just the truck. We are an OEM, and we said we're on a journey, and we're on a journey with a consortium. We build trucks, we build a technology around that truck, but we need to look at the fleet. And when we look at the fleet, it's not only the forklift trucks, it's not only the reach stackers, but it's the RTG cranes, it's name it, whatever rolling equipment, lorries are part of that journey. Because you cannot simply identify one truck or one piece of equipment that needs to be electrified, because ultimately your terminal will be electrified. And last but not least, also the connections. So if you are fully electric or fully hydrogen or a hybrid form, ideally you would be looking at also the lorries coming into your yard, the trains coming into your yard. They need to be recharged, they need to be refueled. How will that come together? The last piece around that whole terminal perspective, so where does one's responsibility lies? So on the fence, inside the fence, the mobile equipment, the workshop area, the ship to shore, this is the responsibility of the terminal. However, what is outside the fence? Where does that responsibility lies? Does that lie with the government of Gambia? Does that lie with the Port Authority? That's also something that needs to be understood going forward. So this is all learnings we're running into. Now we are piloting these projects. So based on the first 18 months of data, we actually looked at the operational characteristics, specifically of the port handling equipment. If you would fit a green solution into a terminal, electricity would be the best way forward, because it's known, there's small forklift trucks, there's cars on electricity. However, today's choice and selection of terminals, today's choice for a selection of terminals is hydrogen. There are specific customers, and I named a few, HALA, APMT, they are really looking ahead of the curve and they want to invest and grow together. How can we build on a sustainable terminal powered by hydrogen? What is your solution? Maybe diesel is still your solution, and please come and speak to us. But there is no one-size-fits-all for the transition. It can be lithium-ion, it can be hydrogen, it can be diesel, it can be HVO. But today's solution might not be your ultimate solution. So only once we have your current application understanding, looking at the solutions that you need on the long term, we can look at that together. We can look at one unit versus your complete fleet, but we also need to consider the regional aspects that will have an impact. So also to help you choose wisely, we offer a learner program that enables you to learn more about this technology. So also here I would like to encourage you to come and speak to us. If you would like to know more about the learner program, we can explain what it means. And that was my piece. Thank you very much.
You can have a seat.
Yep.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank the organizer of Transport event for organizing this wonderful event since yesterday. So my name is Gina Putri. I am representing Prismian. And as for the audience here that are not familiar with our company, I know from the name itself you cannot really tell what kind of companies that we are, but Prismian is a cable manufacturer. So just a little bit of history lessons. Previously, we are a part of Pirelli in the manufacturer that make tires in Milano, Italy. And then we officially break out from Pirelli since 2005, and we have gone public since then at 2010. And ever since then, we have acquired our competitors, which is Draka Cables, and in 2011. And we have also made a journey and acquired another one of our biggest competitors, which is General Cable, in 2018. And all of these combined led us to become the biggest cable manufacturer globally. And to illustrate that, here are some of the maps of some of our facilities globally in the world. So we are present in more than 50 countries globally, with more than 108 plants. And we have 226 R&D centers with more than 30,000 employees. In African continent itself, we have one factory in Abidjan, just in Côte d'Ivoire, which is more focused on building wires or installed cables. So, talking a little bit about sustainability, our company are really focused on making sure that we are focused on sustainability and having a green future for all of us. And to do that, we have an initiative led by our headquarters, which is what we call as Prismian Group Design for Sustainability, or D4S. And this initiative are led by our headquarters, and then it trickles down into every of our branches globally. But for the sake of time, today what I will push forward to you is two initiatives. The first is the tracking of our carbon footprint. So we are one of the cable manufacturers in the world that can fully track 100% of our cable footprints with our cables that we make. And the second is the potential recyclability. So this recyclability means that we have recycling effort, especially with the metals that we use in our cable, so that we can reuse all the scrap metals within the productions to make your cables. But still, this will not in any way reduce the efficiency or the effectivity of your cables. So, coming on into the main topic of today, which is the challenges at the ports, the main thing of each port that we have globally is to have the productivity increases, but also still safe. And this means that each port would like to minimize the downtime of their cranes operation. This is mostly in container operating, and also to increase the throughput and ensuring a faster and trouble-free container load or unloading, and receive no fatality, which means to have more autonomy or reducing the number of people on the site, and have, of course, environmentally friendly ports. And these KPIs lead to consequences of us as a cable manufacturers to serve you with a faster and greater cables. And also to have a cable that have a shrinking tolerance to handle the stress and peaks caused by installation failures, incorrect machine setup, or insufficient maintenance. And of course, the last is the lifetime shortage. So all of this translates to we have to produce a cables to give to you that can perform at the peaks of tolerance reliably without any sudden breakdowns. And that's what we are really good at. So what we have in offer for you is we have a really big portfolio by the way for cranes cables. Just as an introduction, we have a medium voltage and low voltage reeling, applications for vertical reeling, basket, festoon, chain, and last is for onshore power. And this onshore power is particularly interesting to be able to supply this vessel that are docking in your ship with the power that are available in the ports. Just a little bit. This is one of our product which is the Codaflex SMK200 and Codaflex SMK. So the Codaflex cables is a low voltage reeling cable. The 200 and the 300 is the logic made for the design of the reeling application itself. So what we do here in our factory in Germany is that we have a team of R&D designers who make this design of this cable in accordance with the real applications in the field itself. As the Codaflex SMK200 is made for the moderate mechanical stress. It is flexible, it's optimized, easy, robust, and reliable. Well, the Codaflex SMK is a slightly higher version of the Codaflex SMK200, made for the higher mechanical applications. It is super flexible, high tensions, and has an outstanding performance. And the second portfolio I would like to introduce to you is for the medium voltage proton cable. So these are the medium voltage reeling cable. The application is still reeling. It is the logic for the numbers is the same. The 200, 240, and 300 is definitions for the maximum speed that this cable is designed for. All of these, some parts around the world, they require a higher mechanical stresses, and that's why we have the proton SMK-HS, which stands for high speed. So this can stand up to speed of reeling operation 300 meters per minute. And last, we also have Proton IQ, which is made for permanent monitoring of reeling operations. So this Proton IQ is a little bit special in the sense that these cables have a sensor inside of it. So we have a very thin fiber optic cables inside of the Proton IQ cables that can sense whenever the cable is being subjected to torsions. So this is important because in cable, if you open up the cable, you will see that the conductor itself is twisted. So if the installation is not correct, then over time it could cause torsion happens to the cable, and it could cause the core of the cable itself to unravel. And if this happens, and by the time you see it, by the way, on the cable, sometimes you see a cable has a vein. That is actually the copper conductor unraveling. And by the time that happens, the cable is pretty much already damaged. So Proton IQ give a signal through the sensors in order to be able to tell the operators that there is something wrong with the installations of the cables, or there is some outside of factors that affect the operations of the cables itself. And this is already, we supply to one of our OEM partners to test their reeling operations. Thus, we have an additional service and harnessing. This we have in our factory in Neustadt, Germany. We have a facility of in-house harnessing that can do terminations from 1 to up to 66 kV AC. So what that means is that if you order a cable to us and you tell us the specifications of the terminations that you have in your equipment, then we can take that specifications and then cut to length of your cables, install the terminations or whatever accessories you need, and then deliver the cable to you already in one drum. So once you receive it in your board, you already have every system in place, and all you need to do is install the cable and plug in the terminations or the connectors. We also can do tailor-made solutions. So starting from the accessories as well as the cables itself, if you require us to have additional fiber optic element or additional campus element, we can definitely incorporate that if we don't have it yet in our portfolio. That's usually not the case, but if that happens, we can definitely make a custom design for you. We can do also an in-house and on-site assembly. So for example, if you require us to have an installation in your site, we can do that as well. And we also sell some of our cable replies and splice techniques. And why we sell this is because we make our own compound in our factory. So we just buy the base chemical compounds from the chemical company, but we mix it ourselves. So we have our own special compounds that are much better than what you have in the market, basically. It's still rubber, but it is the composition is slightly different. And also we offer some measurement and testing that we can do to your board as well. Now, starting for next year, we will have some new branding. Unfortunately, I do not have any marketing material for you yet as of today, but once we do have that, I will be sure to send it to you. But this is just to not caught it off guard when you come up to us and have inquiries, and then we come back to you with a slightly different name. But the logic is still the same. For special, it is basically customizable. So if you have any requests that we do not have it in our portfolio, and you require any added element or maybe slightly heavier cables, then this categorized as special cables. Well, the expert is basically the same. What cable we have in our portfolio already without any customization. And the last is smart, which is for our moderate to high mechanical stress line. Lastly, these are some of the partners that we have worked with over the decades. I cannot fit all of this into this, but over the time we have been serving the ports industry for more than 30 years as Prismian and more than 90 years as Draka Original Cable. And during that time, we have worked together with a lot of OEM, crane manufacturers OEM, such as the biggest crane manufacturers in the world, which is ZPMC. So we supply our cable to them. So it is very likely that when you buy your cranes from them, it's already installed with our cables. And we also work together with other cranes manufacturers, such as Kone Cranes through our intercompany partner in Finland, and also Kunz or Liber and all other OEMs for reelings as well as for the spreader. As for the end user, we have also worked together with various ports and terminals globally. I put here APM, of course, and we also work together with Yulport, with PSA, DP World, HLA, and what I would like to highlight, in the African continent itself, we already supply our medium voltage reeling cables to some of the ports, like for example in LCT Togo, and then in Tanger Med, Morocco, some port in Libya, Misrata, and also in Egypt, we have supplied to some of their container ports as well, in Alexandria, for example. So this goes to show that we are a reliable partner to every part of the players in the industry, so not just the OEMs, but also the end user. Next, this is the last slide that I have. This is just my contacts. You will be getting this presentation, so next time if you have any inquiries, you're free to ask it around with my email or WhatsApp number, and also my colleague, Isaac, who is mainly responsible for the African continent. But before I end my presentation, I would like to leave you with a story. So a few months ago, I went to one of our end user customer in the Middle East region. And when I went there, we met with the head of maintenance department. And he showed us a picture about a cracked cables. And I was pretty surprised because there is no way that the quality of our cables was that bad. But then I asked him when this cables was made. And he said, I'm not so sure, but the sign here says Pirelli. It was more than 20 years ago. So the cable was just now showing signs of cracks. So that just goes to show that our cables is reliable and you can trust us on that promise. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Putri.
Brake systems for container handling equipment. We are the world market leader in that field. And today I take the opportunity to show you our BOSS system, our brake-only anti-snag system. What is it? And for instance, what are the consequences if you have not a good working anti-snag system on an SCS crane? You see, if it comes to a container snag, it means container is hoisting against an obstacle, or it is stucking in a container in a container cell. So what can be the consequences? I have that video, which is downloaded, of course, from YouTube, and you see what happened. It's an old video, but this can happen if something goes wrong. So you see the whole boom structure is coming down into the vessel cell. So this is the worst case what a port can have. So we have been developed a system which is working like another principle. I will show you that video which explains itself. Also, okay, that video was, I think, very impressive for you to see how the system works, and you have to deal with components which you have anyway on board on the crane. You see the fast setting service brakes, which is a key factor. We have developed over the years a PUL, which means this is a thruster. They keeps the brake open and they close very fast. That means we need a very fast setting brake to make this project and this BOSS system happen. Then we need dual channel load pins to have dual channels for measuring the load and to measuring the corner loads. We have an electrical cabinet, which is the only thing which is an additional part of the crane, and we have anyway the fast-setting emergency brakes on STS cranes. This is the arrangement. You see, we have most of the time we have 2 service brakes and we have 2 emergency brakes directly connected to the rope drums. And the BOSS system works as has 2 working principles. We have a snag detected. That means if the load cells detect a threshold or reach the threshold, we immediately act with the comparison relays and set the brakes to keep the crane to stop the load. On the other hand, we have an overload detection, which is measuring the corner loads and give by after the internal calculation, and if they exceed the threshold, then they also recognize it as a snag and also stop the brakes very fast. This is the arrangement in the control cabinet. We have a BOSS safety PLC, which contains of Siemens safety elements according to SEL safety integrity level 2. You see the 4 load limit switch comparator, and this signal goes directly from the dual channel load pins to the comparator relays and to the safety relays to the brakes, and let the brakes set them very fast. Then we have a sample calculation, and therefore the different calculations will lead into a snag system, into a snag, or into a or give the hoisting free for hoisting. Then very important is to have, as I told you before, a very fast setting brake, which you can see. We have that make it very fast with our PUL system. You see how fast the brake set. And what is important, or why is it important to have a very fast setting brake? You see the graph is a standard brake. You see we have an example with 100-ton load on the crane. Snag has happened, and here you can see the service brakes. Further service brakes normally takes 200 or even up to 350 milliseconds to set. This is far too long. So in the normal case, if the emergency brakes set with 200 milliseconds, 250 milliseconds, so they set first. That means all the motor energy, the inertia of the motor and all the components involved are shuffling the inertia and the energy into the system and causing damaging of gearbox stages, gearbox bearings, couplings, and so on. And that's why we have developed that system. We have a very fast reaction brake, and you see in that case the service brakes are setting earlier than the emergency brakes, and that causes not so much energy in the system, so all the components are better protected and getting not so many energy. So because of the death time is much less. Also here you can see the timing comparison. We hoisting up full speed empty spreader. the snack is coming and the motor is still running under full speed. So, and the slow acting brakes cannot stop the load, and the maximum is reached or even exceeded. Yeah, hopefully we can also increase our business here in African countries. And yeah, we have successfully installed 75 cranes with that system. And that was my last slide, and thank you for your attention.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Javier from RAM Spreaders. So we are going to start by a movie. You will see an example of a new kind of logistics, and then you will have many questions, and it will open your mind. So let me just please briefly explain to you how does it work and which system is it. What you are going to see now, it's called the containerized bulk handling solutions. So it's bulk operations, but you load the material into containers, you send the material loaded into containers at the port, and then you do the operation, you export the bulk material with containers. So it's called containerized bulk operation. It works from every port, and it works with all type of cranes. So I will show you a movie of real operations, and it will be more clear for you, and then we'll talk about the benefits, about how you can implement it in the port for all type of ports, big ports, small ports, multi-purpose port, and how it can suit for your operation in your every country. In this case, it's for copper. So the material is transported into the containers. It's sealed. In this container, you have 40 tons of copper. And what you see in red, it's called the RAM revolver. It's a kind of rotating spreaders. This revolver takes the container. As you see, the container is sealed, closed. So there is 0% material loose. You can see how clean is the berth, how clean is the port. Each crane is loading more than 1,000 tons per hour. Now you can see more in detail the operations. The container is sealed. The lid is automatically removed. We have these dust suppression systems that keeps all the dust into the hatch. And then the container is rotated by the RAM revolver. The lid is automatically replaced. Now the container is empty, and the container comes back to the berth. Once the container is empty, it came back to the mine, or the container came back to the warehouse to be loaded again. So you can see how clean are the operations. Working with 3 cranes, they are reaching an average loading rate of more than 3,000 tons per hour. And you can see how small is the terminal, you see, and how clean is it. And no need of any infrastructure.
National stakeholders. Thank you very much, Transport Events, also for organizing Intermodal Africa. This is a great opportunity to present also the result of our company. So my name is Christophe Joubert. I'm International Ports Deputy CEO at ProDevelop. ProDevelop is a Spanish company located in Valencia, Spain. We are specialized in ICT solutions for port authorities and also for terminal. Okay, so thank you very much. All right, so as you have seen in this very short video, ProDevelop is a company that is operating all over the run. We are already in more than 200 ports globally, and just in Africa, 39 ports already. We are very happy to have started very recently with GPA also in their digitization journey. We have our headquarters in Valencia, Spain, and also a headquarters in Peru, Lima, Latin America, South America. And in Spain, we are the main provider for, in particular, port management solution and PCS, port community system. So our strategy for digitization is centered on the people and on the needs also of our customers. So the key elements for the successful digitization are principally to put people at the center of its concern. So we do that through partnership that we do with local partners. So for instance, here we are working with a local company, Lasting Solutions, that is helping us in better understanding the local situation and the projection of the maritime trade in the Gambia. So we actively make them participate in this project to ensure the resilience also of the technology that is put in place. So this innovation is made so that there is a transfer of knowledge and training of all the people, so that the full control is done by the local team. So right now I'm talking with you, but we have also a team doing right now a training also with the GPA team. So there is a lot of collaboration. And also, there is a need to have the right tools. So to have the right tools in this digitalization world, we need some methodology and some roadmap. So first, we take the people to work with this project. These will be the people that will lead and execute the project, and the people are the ones that will use the project. So we identify clearly who are the main users and actors for the successful implementation of this digitization journey. So the first step for Port Authority is to put in place a so-called Port Management Information System. So the Port Information Management System is the first, let's say, piece of digitization that enables to consolidate all the revenue, all the tariffs dues that are made by the Port Authority on their services, port calls, port services, cargo, any revenues that can be generated within the Port Authority. Once this is consolidated internally, we work on the so-called port community system, a platform that enables to digitalize the processes, import processes, export processes, transshipment processes, but with all the actors. So in this platform, using the international standards from United Nations and IMO, we are able to integrate with other systems, those systems from terminal, custom systems, scanner systems, transport systems, and so on. So all ship agent system also, obviously. So all are participating to this PCS in order to fulfill the mandatory regulations in terms of maritime trade, and for instance, the Fall Convention that is mandatory by the IMO, and all port authorities have to have in place a maritime single window in order to digitalize all the fall forms. So the PCS is also this platform that enables to fulfill with the international standards. And then once we have, let's say, the full coverage about the port community, we can work more in a smarter way. So we need to optimize some activity within the port. So what we have created are tools that enable us to maximize, for instance, the use of the infrastructures of the port, namely the quay, and to minimize the time of the ship at quay. So this is done also based on international standards and initiatives that have been made very recently by the port call optimization international task group. So they have gathered the interest of all the stakeholders that are working on the ship, terminal, moorer, dogs, pilots, port authority, customs, everyone. And they have defined a standard in order to communicate the events, the work that they have to do on the ship in a standard way. So that on integrated platform, like we have in this operations layer, we have this collaborative decision-making tool that enables to all stakeholders as a team to have direct visibility on the current status of each of the ship, compared to the estimated work that has been planned in advance. So this kind of tool aims at reducing the lack of information or the incorrect information. For instance, it is very common that the port authority has estimated time arrival of ships that are different from the estimated time arrival of ships from the terminal. So this kind of issue can be detected well in advance, so that each one can better plan and reduce their cost of mobilizing their resources. Okay, and the idea behind this tool is to maximize the use of the quay. For instance, to reduce at the minimum the idle time of the ship at the arrival until there is the first load or unload activity from the terminal, and when the ship is ready to sail, the time that is still on the quay. Okay, so this time are either they are not productive, they are not generating any revenue for anyone, and they are blocking the entrance of further ship and further cargo. So this is the goal of this kind of tool. And then the last, let's say, layer, it is the smartest layer, where we try to obtain the information from more sources, more data sources. So we use interconnected objects. So earlier today we have heard about some cable that were integrating some sensor. So here in the video you have seen also a digital twin of a terminal. So we are capable to connect any kind of gateway sensor to obtain information in real time and to feed this platform and to make intelligence above of it. So doing machine learning, artificial intelligence, KPI, detecting bottlenecks, and so on. So we'll see some use cases also. So the first layer, port management, covers port calls, port operations, nautical technical services, resources, allocation, inspection, public domain, invoicing, all internal to the port authority. Then for the PCS, it's in order to open it to any kind of stakeholders. Obviously, customs, ship agent, and terminal, but also railway, truck transport company, in order to facilitate the appointment of trucks, for instance. Vehicle booking system are part of the PCS. The management of dangerous goods is also part of the PCS, following the international standards and using, for instance, the hazmat. Waste collection and declaration and collection based on the United Nations also MAPOL convention, gate pass, and all processes that enables to be more productive and efficient as a whole. So it is often the case that the terminal side is really efficient with high level of maturity in terms of digitalization, infrastructures, and so on. But it is stuck in terms of efficiency by the rest of the port community, by the burden of administrative documents, by the incomplete information or communication between all stakeholders. So the PCS is there in order to try to ease this flow of information in a standard way, following the international regulation and local regulation. For the operation, it's more focused, in particular for the harbor masters and about the stakeholders working on the ship. And then in terms of smart application, you have in general 3 main verticals. One that are more focused on the green aspect, the environmental impact of the port activity. a port can be greener, more eco-friendly, but at the same time efficient. Okay, so this kind of problematics is popping up very often lately. So we are working with top European ports in that sector, like the port of Antwerp, port of Rotterdam. We have worked also with the port of Hamburg, and this kind of solution is the one that is used. So basically, it is crossing information from sources of data like particle emission stations that are deployed within the Port Authority, but it could be sensor in buoys, it could be satellite images as on screenshot from a different satellite provider in order to obtain data for different indicators, air quality, water quality, and image also. Okay. So I will just switch to the next step. So integrated port management. The port management solution can be completed also with a geographical information system. So ProDevelop is an actor in the port sector since 1993 for more than 30 years. And it started in 1993 with the Port of Valencia with a GIS solution. So we are specialized in using geo-reference data to manage all the information. For the PCS, we have applied this kind of solution locally and also nationally, as it was mentioned in some previous presentation. The solution is multi-language. We have developed Arabic interfaces, English, Spanish, French, for the different countries where we are working. We are working both in America, South America, Asia, Europe, and Africa. And we have also worked, for instance, in Georgia recently, putting in place a national maritime single window in Georgian. So there is no limitation in terms of language, but behind the scene, it is all based on the data models and standards from United Nations and IMO. As you might have seen, there is a common issue in port authorities here in Africa and also in other continents about the truck congestion. So here, for instance, we have seen some congestion for
ku yor du sa xët te quality jas na ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom jas na pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jas na your number one stop shop. Ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garme yi ndaxte quality jas na amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye fàttewuñ fa diw yi. Ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jas na amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg. Dama ne atum ren ji ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jas na ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi. Make-up artist yi bàyyi ngeen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay make-up product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofa sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jas na si 250 01 24 ak quality jas na taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye dëggal sa alaaji aas.